Good afternoon. I am John Orsini. Today, a few members of the design team will share a summary of the pre-design phase for the new Quaker Valley High School. This phase included opportunities for the community of Quaker Valley to visit the site and discuss a variety of ideas regarding the new high school and the direction of educational spaces it will contain, directly with the project team. Understanding the desires of the community is essential to the design phase. The pre-design phase included a series of meetings and workshops, each focusing on various aspects of the design. In both the workshop and community meetings, citizens of the district and a group of Quaker Valley constituents participated in discussions with the design team. Work Session 1 incorporated teachers and staff of Quaker Valley High School, and Work Session 2 included members of the Quaker Valley community, school and district administration, high school teachers and staff, and students. Throughout the project, the design team will continue to incorporate teachers and staff on specifics of each space. Work Session 2 is considered the core group. The core group will be responsible for reviewing the project throughout the entirety of the design process. The process of understanding who Quaker Valley is and the desired vision for the future started about 5 years ago. Quaker Valley Schools worked with Brain Spaces at that time of the visioning. Amy Yurko from Brain Spaces joins our design team for these meetings this week. Amy was able to provide a history and understanding of the previous process. The information and findings provided by Brain Spaces acted as a foundation for the pre-design phase. Today, the design team will share the thoughts and visions of Quaker Valley. Kate Spires and Patty Coley will review the findings from the community survey and the emergent themes of the 4 categories: campus, community, sustainability, and teaching learning. Later, Ken Serbier, Patricia, and myself will provide an overview of discussions during the workshops, including an overview of the group activities. These activities focused on the relationship of main spaces or the community commons, and the overall relationship of the building to the site. This engagement process provided opportunity for community to be involved in key decisions of what the building can become. This is what the design teams, district, and school administration intended. The pre-design phase provided the Quaker Valley community the essential opportunity to define not only what it means to be a Quaker, but also what the future can become. The agenda in the presentation will include discussions, observations, and the project's design principles. Our approach is sequential. Each agenda item builds on the information and discussions from the previous events and activities. The process of the new high school began with the community. Opportunities were given for site visits. In addition, a survey was provided for community feedback. Kate will review the survey results.
The survey was developed with the district's oversight and was built on the foundations of the visioning work that the district had executed over the last several years. The survey was distributed through district communications on September 15th and was completed 7 days later on September 22nd. The brief survey consisted of 16 questions, which covered 4 categories: campus, community, sustainability, and teaching and learning. A total of 549 responses were collected. In addition to the 16 questions about the new high school, the survey collected demographic data through a short set of preliminary questions. Through this, we are able to report that the vast majority of the respondents were parents of school-age children, and a quarter of the surveys were filled out by residents of Sewickley Borough, double that completed by Bell Acres Borough, Edgeworth Borough, and Lee Township. The 16 questions asked the respondents to tell us how strongly they feel about a particular topic related to the design of the new high school. The responses were scaled 1 to 10, where a response of 1 meant that the respondent had no strong feelings about the topic, and a response of 10 meant that the respondent had very strong feelings about the topic. In addition to these scaled questions, there was a place at the end of each category for the respondents to leave additional unconstrained thoughts. Generally, there was a strong response to all questions. On average, 75% of the responses registered 7 and above, while 18% registered 4 and below. Here, in the campus section, questions focused on sense of pride and place, opportunities for outdoor teaching, and leaving much of the site in a natural state. The community questions focused on community collaboration, sidewalk and trail connections, and after-hours public access to the campus. This category had the second largest response, just after teaching and learning. The sustainability questions focused on the new high school being a model for sustainability in the region, implementing sustainable features like solar panels, sunshades, and healthy building materials, as well as the building being used as a teaching tool for the students. The teaching and learning questions focused on expanding the media center to include a variety of amenities beyond the traditional library, like green rooms, maker spaces, collaboration spaces, and technology and innovation. It was this section that saw the strongest response of the whole survey. On the same day that the survey concluded, a community event was held at the middle school, and Patty will report on that next.
In mid-September, we held the first in-person community kickoff meeting. We invited individuals from across the district and the surrounding neighborhoods in this open community session. Ultimately, 60 individuals attended the in-person event. The intention of the meeting was to provide an opportunity for the community to meet the project team in person, to provide an overview of the design process, and to collect direct feedback from the community about their thoughts and aspirations for the project. We held an activity to collect the community feedback, which would directly inform the project design principles. The activity was organized into 4 categories of campus, community, sustainability, and teaching and learning, similar to the online survey. Here are photos of the board showing the collection of Post-it notes created by the community identifying issues that excite people or issues that may concern them. The project team then extracted the information from the Post-it notes from the community activity and populated them into a spreadsheet grouped into common themes. These groupings help to identify where common areas of concern may occur or where there may be greater desire or need within the project. Those common themes are identified here. Within the category of campus, some of the common themes included access, pedestrian connection to and on the site, creating a place of pride within the community, and having outdoor activities and entertainment in quiet spaces while also maintaining site security. Within the category of community, there were many similar themes to campus, which included having spaces that are opening and welcoming to the community, creating a place of community pride that encourages curiosity, and maintaining the safety and security for the community. Within the category of sustainability, there were several themes, including having the site and the project be an example for students and for the community, so looking both internally as well as externally. Potentially achieving a high level of sustainability, including either net zero energy or water, or being zero carbon. Having spaces with natural daylighting and ventilation, and then protection of the natural environment of the site. Finally, within the category of teaching and learning, there were several themes, including maintaining the high quality of teaching within the school district, creating opportunities to engage with the community, with the teaching and learning, incorporating technology within the teaching and learning, having an integration of the arts, And finally, creating flexible learning environments. Of the common themes from the community session, we found some strong and unique findings. Within the category of campus, desire for easy and safe access was strongly emphasized. This pertained not only to buses and cars, but for individuals walking and biking to and from the site. Within the category of community, there was interest for students to be provided with opportunities for apprenticeships, internships, and career pathways within the surrounding neighborhoods. Also, the desire to create a place of community pride was strongly emphasized, creating a place that encourages curiosity and connection. With sustainability, there were two unique findings. The first was a desire to explore alternative energy sources, including solar panels, wind turbines, and geothermal systems. The second was a strong interest in food sustainability and composting and recycling on site. Finally, with teaching and learning, wellness and mental health was strongly emphasized. This included creating spaces to accommodate all learners, focusing on student support, and creating spaces to decompress. Outdoor learning spaces were also desired, including more formal outdoor classrooms, as well as non-traditional learning using the streams and wetlands on site.
Our understanding of the community began with site visits. The district scheduled a series of site visits at various times and days. Here, members of the community had the opportunity to walk the site and talk about the possibilities that it can provide. Discussions included conversations on site access, building location, and the educational value of this particular place. In addition to site visits, the community participated in conference calls. The calls focused on community members' project aspirations, as well as concerns associated with the new high school. Aspirations range from educational opportunities of the site, spaces designed for a specific discipline, and a school that allows for educational innovation. Concerns included project cost, project schedule, and site design. The design team also had the opportunity to have a discussion with Sustainable Swickley. The conversations included discussions on how the school can respect the environment and how the building can minimize energy consumption. Each group and call provided additional valuable information on the community's thoughts about this project. We also were able to walk the school and talk to the students about what they vision a new Quaker Valley High School can be. Discussions range from overall building aesthetic, spaces designed for a specific program, overall building layout, and the relationship of spaces to the commons. The students stressed that the building should accommodate all student opportunity for education, building access, and student collaboration. In addition, site access, relationship of program exterior spaces to the building's interior spaces should complement one another. We heard of memory of place and what it is to go to Quaker Valley High School. The students were excited about the possibility for future Quakers.
Building on the community work session, the design team facilitated a series of workshops over 3 days in the week of October 10th. These on-site meetings included teachers, students, and the project core group. These workshops were a combination of the design team listening to each group and a series of interactive activities where all participants were asked to engage in the evaluation and synthesis of preliminary ideas that now will help guide and form the team's design process for the new Quaker Valley High School. In the first workshop activity, participants were asked to react to and evaluate collections of benchmark images from high schools, higher education, workplace, and education center projects, all compiled from the design team's combined portfolios. Participants were asked to evaluate the images in the 3 categories you see here. One focused on the qualities of the building spaces, one focused on the types of site activities, and the third focused on the characteristics of the learner and community commons. The interactive groups were energetic with lively discussion and lots of thoughtful questions. As an example, you see here the images that were compiled and evaluated for the Learner and Community Commons. This matrix includes the variety of spaces identified in your project program. The images illustrate different arrangements of these program pieces with different scales, activities, and visual qualities. These images range from dynamic, tall, large spaces to more modestly scaled rooms with strong connections to the outside, and still others that highlight more focused individual space. These illustrate qualities that range from personal focused nooks to large gathering spaces, grand stairs, and town halls. Participants were asked to place red and green stickers to emphasize images as negative or positive. You see here the Learning Commons board from the teacher's workshop. While there are a few images where the positive and negative do overlap, there are also some clear themes that begin to emerge. Images with larger scale tall atrium spaces are mostly negative, while spaces with smaller scale visual warmth are mostly positive. Images that illustrate the large windows and edges connecting to the natural landscape are strong favorites. And then there were some very thoughtful discussions around the qualities of the smaller individual spaces. This workshop activity was then repeated with the core group working session to gather broader feedback from the diverse group. And this is the learner community boards that you see here from that session. As you'll notice, there's considerable consistency with the previous feedback, but also a few more images where there was some thoughtful discussion around what participants felt were both challenges and opportunities contained within the spaces described in certain images. The patterns, trends, and findings that all this feedback provides will inform the design team as we begin the process of organizing and arranging the programmatic functions and the components of the new high school on your site.
To gain familiarity with the established program, we provided this overview of the programmatic functions of the new high school as outlined in the pre-design report. The program elements are separated into different categories, including the core learning spaces, the activity spaces, the learner community commons, the administrative offices, and the building support. The academics program elements form the foundation of the school and fulfill the fundamental learning needs for students. However, the activities and the learner commons support that core learning and need to have adjacency to the core spaces. With the learner community commons spaces top of mind from the image boards, the teacher stakeholders then regrouped for a second activity to establish a better understanding of how the program pieces interrelate. For this second activity, we focused specifically on the learner community commons areas. These include several groupings of spaces, such as the Student Union, Club Hub, and Student Council space, the cafeteria and associated spaces, including the kitchen, serving area, food court, and food staging, the media center spaces, including the library classroom and the associated meeting and office space. And then finally, the performing arts, theater, and associated support space. The learner community commons include the largest and most unique spaces within the building, and they really form the heart of the school. They are the shared amenities for the whole school, and they have the potential to create great connection with the larger community. Here are photos from the in-person sessions showing groups of participants arranging the learner community commons spaces. The intention of the activity was to identify the critical adjacencies with these large and public-facing spaces.
Building on the previous workshops that focused on the commons, the team then introduced expanded adjacency diagrams to the core group. The sketches that you see here represent the project program at scale in preliminary arrangements that is intended to ask questions of the group about desired connections and circulation within the new high school. These questions ask, what should the relationship be between the commons and the classrooms? What spaces might need to be more active and public, which should be more secure and focused? The hub and spoke diagram that you see here on the left sets the learning commons up directly in the center of the building. The courtyard diagram begins to open up to daylight views in the outdoor teaching spaces. The spine organization opens and stretches further, opening up to the potential of this ridge site. The organizations and ideas that were illustrated in the previous sketches were then tested, examined, and expanded on in the context of the site, pretty much in real time by 4 workshop teams. Each worked with scale models of the project program on a corresponding site plan. The teams did a fantastic job of not only testing these organizations and the relationships within the program, but then beginning to ask questions. How many stories should the building be? How long should the building be? How compact should the building be? The teams then looked beyond the building and started asking questions of the site. In addition to the vehicular access points, where might there be opportunity for pedestrian bike connections? What do you see as an approach to the school? What do you see from the various spaces within the school? These discussions, questions, and the ideas that came out of this activity will now inform and literally take form in the concept plans that are the design team's next step in the process.
As we mentioned, this engagement process has provided an opportunity for the community to be involved in key decisions of what the building can be. From these meetings, we have developed a series of design principles that now will directly inform the design of the new high school. The first 4 design principles are centered around the themes that we established with the online community survey and the in-person community kickoff meeting, which are campus, community, sustainability, and teaching and learning. The 5th design principle coalesces those themes and sets a bar for the future of Quaker Valley. Build for innovative education and establish a new high school benchmark. A new school that is not only a symbol of Quaker Valley, but a place with intuitive adaptability that can sustain high-quality education for generations.
Throughout the project, there are various phases for the building and the site. These include schematic design, design development, construction documentation, bidding, and construction. This is the start of the design process for the new high school and the site. The phases as listed above further develop the project. At the end of the design and documentation phase, a set of construction drawings will be bid for this project. Then construction begins. The project's next step is schematic design and design development. During these phases, we will be working closely with the students, faculty, and administration in smaller focus groups with conversations throughout to understand the details and nuances of what is required in each space, in each type of building, and the site. As we work with these stakeholders to better understand the program elements, we will start to develop site plans and floor plans that address these critical adjacencies, circulation pathways, and community commons. Each phase of the project is a collaboration. The core group, administration, teachers, community members, and students will be involved in the planning for the new high school. So this is an update on how we will work over the next few weeks and months in the early stages of programming and design. We would like to thank you for having us here to report on the community engagement that has taken place over the last several months. Opportunity for influence at the beginning of the project hold the most value and economical return. The value of a collaborative, engaged community and stakeholders is key to a successful project and a project that can only be Quaker Valley High School. Thank you.